The Endeavor Agency arc is finally over. Welcome back to another My Hero Academia anime versus manga comparison video. Today we will be going over season 5 episode 106 of the My Hero Academia anime. As always, we will be seeing what was changed or how much was changed, removed, or perhaps done better from the manga to anime adaptation. Now, episode 106 is titled The Unforgiven, which is the same title as chapter 252, as well as the final episode in the Endeavor Agency arc. To start things off, episode 106 opens with an anime-only flashback, and it's a welcome change since it shows us the arresting of the thief Takumi and how and where Ending first saw Endeavor and got his first impressions of him that happened several years ago, which we don't ever get to see in the manga as it's only just mentioned. It was also a nice touch that Endeavor in this flashback was his old All Might obsessed self, really hammering in how much Endeavor has changed since then. Also, this is the first animated appearance of Takumi, who was only mentioned in the manga version of the Endeavor Agency arc. We actually don't see Takumi and really get to know who he is until later on in the manga after the war arc. So it's interesting to see the anime expand on this moment by showing the arrest of Takumi and giving us a little bit of extra information on him, with Endeavor saying to the officer that Takumi was ferocious and that they shouldn't take their eyes off of him. I'm definitely a fan of this anime only edition. After the flashback, the anime doesn't animate the panel that shows Ending from the back. I'm going to assume this panel was supposed to be him years ago, since in that same panel his dialogue says, "I was full of despair that day, even the wispy autumn clouds seemed against me." For this, I think Bones made the right call to give us the anime only flashback instead of this panel. After this, we get some added dialogue for Ending after he injects himself with a quirk boosting drug, with him saying, "Isn't it obvious? I want you to end it. Yes, Endeavor, the one whom I long for." The anime also adds in Natsu walking and him being followed by Ending. For a little continuity error, when Fuyumi is talking about Natsu and the family drama, when she says that Natsu believes that Endeavor killed Toya, Bakugo says that explains the look on his face. As I pointed out in the last anime versus manga video covering episode 105, the anime removed Bakugo seeing Natsu overhearing the conversation Deku, Shoto, and Fuyumi were having. In episode 106, the anime decides to mess with the continuity that they set up in episode 105 by having Bakugo in front of the dining room door, seeing Natsu in the hallway overhearing the conversation, where in the last episode he is nowhere to be seen. Now, when Bakugo is shown seeing Natsu in the hallway, the anime removes Natsu going back into the dining room to tell Fuyumi that he was going to be heading out, as well as thanking her for dinner. In the anime, he just straight up leaves the house without saying anything. After this, the anime adds in Fuyumi apologizing for bringing up Toya and their family's problems, as well as Deku basically saying it's no problem at all. I guess Deku enjoys hearing tea as much as I do. When the squad is leaving, the anime removes Fuyumi apologizing for not asking more about their school life. Also, for a small change in the anime, when Bakugo asks about the Mapo tofu recipe, he is already in the car, whereas in the manga, he is still standing next to Deku and Shoto. For another anime-only edition, the anime adds in a scene of Natsu talking on the phone with his girlfriend and having their conversation being cut short due to Ending using his quirk to control the white road paint to capture Natsu. This is definitely a welcome addition since we never get to really see how he gets captured in the manga. Even though we knew he was going to get captured by Ending, just seeing it happen is a nice touch. After this, during the car ride, when Deku says to Todoroki that he will help him with his English for their finals, the anime doesn't show Bakugo sticking his head out of the car window due to him needing personal space. Instead, the anime sort of moves the scene of Bakugo sticking his head out of the window to after Ending starts to attack. Also, because of this little change, Bakugo's line about Endeavor not having a bigger car doesn't make all that much sense, because we then see him resting his arm on top of Deku. You'd think with a character like Bakugo, the anime would try to remain consistent with his character and make it so he isn't physically touching Deku, but the anime doesn't stay consistent with his character in this scene. Another little change that happens before Ending starts to attack is that Kurumada doesn't say his iconic Pa line from the manga, and it was instead changed to Zounds in the anime. I'm not sure what the reason for this change was, but I don't like it. When Ending attacks the car, Kurumada and Deku get some extra lines of dialogue. The anime also removes Kuromada saying boss, as well as him saying hold tight slackers when the car spins out of control. Also, I almost forgot to mention that every time Kuromada calls the boys brats, in the manga he actually calls them slackers, so I guess this is just another weird little anime change. For some nice attention to detail, when Endeavor flies out of the car, parts of his face that aren't covered in flames has this sort of pinkish glow to it, and that's due to it being nighttime and his face being lit up by his flames. For some anime removals, after Endeavor flies out of the car, the anime removes the painted street numbers being wrapped around the car. When Endeavor says to Ending, "I'll say it again, let him go," originally in the manga he doesn't say anything and instead dashes towards Ending to save Natsu, but is stopped due to another scene that was removed showing all of the street paint Ending was controlling rushing back to Natsu and then having the painted arrow point to Natsu's head. For some detail removed, when Bakugo uses an explosion to break the car window, his sleeve isn't rolled up like in the manga. The anime then adds in Todoroki saying let's go, as well as him using both his ice and fire to get out of the car, which the detail in this added scene is pretty cool because in the car we see him using his ice as a shield to contain the blast from the fire he uses to blow off the door, whereas in the manga he only uses his ice after he gets out of the car. When Deku tosses everyone their hero cases, they all get some added dialogue, with Bakugo saying I'll crush him, Todoroki says I'll save Natsu, and Deku says no matter what, we'll protect him. After this we get an anime only scene where as the trio are making their way to Ending and Natsu, Ending uses the street paint and hits all three of them and tries to slow them down, but they all remember Endeavor's words during their work study and push through, destroying the street paint, forcing Ending to jump back. Definitely the highlight in this scene was Bakugo's face when he got hit by the street paint. It was absolute gold. Alright, so after this, everything up until Ending putting Natsu in front of a moving train was the same, but man, was the animation in this section and even after this section were on point. To me, the little extra scene we got of Endeavor smacking the street paint away as he dashes towards Ending, and then after we get Bakugo using his explosion to get ahead of Todoroki, then seeing Todoroki getting off his ice to use flash fire was so smooth and it really enhanced the manga's experience for me. And speaking of enhancing the manga's experience, the anime makes Bakugo saving Natsu a lot more nerve-wracking by having Ending put Natsu in front of a speeding train. Originally in the manga, Ending puts Natsu in front of a speeding taxi, and to me, I never really thought a speeding taxi was all that intense because the car could just swerve out of the way and just totally miss Natsu completely, unlike a speeding train that doesn't have the option to turn. Also, that taxi driver needs to get their license taken away because how you coming from deep, having all this time to see that there's a villain doing some crazy shit and you still try to speed up? Like, are you blind? But yeah, this is 100% a welcome change, plus the animation and the soundtrack going crazy after Bakugo said no, more people won't when he saved Natsu gave me goosebumps. Moving on, when Deku remembers what Endeavor said about needing to be able to do two things at once without thinking, the anime removes Deku remembering Endeavor saying, once you've got that down, throw in another thing. After this, the anime adds in Todoroki saying, yeah, that's right, not a single one, when Deku says to Ending that none of his wishes will come true. The anime then adds in Bakugo seeing if Natsu was okay before they get hugged by Endeavor. For a little detail removed, when Endeavor runs up and hugs Bakugo and Natsu, the flames behind Endeavor are toned down a lot. When Endeavor is telling Natsu how sorry he is about everything and how he isn't looking for forgiveness, just for atonement, the anime removes the cars passing by, as well as this brain dead looking driver being hella nosy. Also, I feel like the anime should have left in Natsu saying it'll be a cold day in hell before I forgive you, because it just hits way better than the day I forgive you will never come. Plus, the anime doesn't animate Todoroki's reaction when Natsu says he isn't as caring as Shoto. After Endeavor tells Natsu that he just wants to atone, the anime removes Natsu saying, wow, you got a real way with words all of a sudden. soon. When Deku hears the police sirens, the anime removes his line where he is relieved that the police are arriving. Bakugo is also removed from this scene as well. After this, when Endeavor says to himself, "Hawks, you've got a good pair of eyes on you," the anime adds in a scene of Hawks sneezing and him saying, "Someone's talking about me. Is it Endeavor perhaps?" When Endeavor is telling Fuyumi about having a new house being built for them and their mother, the anime adds in Endeavor mentioning that according to Rei's attending physician, she'll be discharged soon and that they should start getting ready to move. And finally, for the final change in the anime, at the end of the episode, the anime adds in new scenes of Endeavor's dream about his family being happy without him. The Endeavor agency arc and episode then ends with Endeavor truly caring for his family by trying to atone for his past. Now, episode 106 covers a total of 3 chapters, them being chapters 250, 251, and 252. Now, I really enjoyed this episode. The animation, the soundtracks, and even the anime-only scenes really elevated my enjoyment so much compared to the manga. Now, just because I enjoyed the episode, it doesn't change my opinion on how Bones poorly handled the season so far. As for the anime's adaptation of the Endeavor agency arc itself, there were some things I liked, but the amount of flashbacks, removals, and rearrangements of certain things like the big Shigaraki moment not being there, Rei cooling off Todoroki's burn not being animated, and of course the absolute disrespectful removal of Hawks' drip, plus many other things really just didn't sit well for me, and I couldn't enjoy the anime's adaptation of the Endeavor agency arc as much as I wanted to. The complete rearrangement of the My Villain Academia arc for the Endeavor agency arc to come first for the sake of the World Heroes Mission movie was not the right call, because the outcome of the arc that Bones decided to save for later was spoiled because of it. As a hardcore My Hero Academia fan, it really upsets me that they would sacrifice the narrative of the story, the character development, and the complete outcome of an arc for a movie to make sense. For this arc, I definitely prefer how things went down in the manga, but hey, at least we got an amazing episode to end off the Endeavor agency arc in the anime. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on the changes made in episode 106. How do you feel about the anime's adaptation of the Endeavor agency arc? Did you like it? Do you prefer the manga version like me, or are you mixed between the two? Let me know everything in the comment section below. With that said, thank you for watching another My Hero Academia anime versus manga comparison video. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to smash that like button below, and don't forget to share this video with your friends. If you are new to the channel and you want to see more My Hero Academia content, then be sure to subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on to join the Todoroki Hero Academia to become my hero. Doing all of this really does help the channel out a lot, and it's always appreciated. Remember to stay plus ultra, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.